Hey, my name is Thomas Gunnlaugsson. I am a junior management major with an emphasis in human resource management from Clemson University, and this is my Yanfeng interview. So question number one, what did you want to be when you grew up? So I think one thing that I knew I wanted to be when I grew up was a head coach. I had a lot of head coaches growing up that were just extremely influential, I guess, not just on the court, but off the court, and the amount of life lessons, values, and just, their acts of generosity. There were many times that they have talked to me and, sat down with me and just taught me things about life that I just probably wouldn't know without them. It's crazy. And I said, hey, that's really something that I'd like to do for other people if I could. I'd love to be a head coach and be able to mentor them, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So I think that's probably why I wanted to be a head coach so much. Question number two, give an example of when you had to work with someone that was difficult to get along with, and how did you handle interactions with that person? So with being a head coach of a swim team, which for the summer that I was, it was very difficult handling parents sometimes when they got upset. And these typically arose from situations when their kid did not swim the events that they wanted them to in a meet, or their kids did not swim enough events in a meet in general. And so one of the first things I did was I listened to parents. I listened to their concerns, and I tried to talk to them, back and forth communication, trying to figure out how we can best solve this situation. And I think one of the first things I communicated with them too was that we had a pretty large team for where we were, and it was impossible for every swimmer to swim every event. So I think that was one of the first things that they kind of understood too as well. With that being said, however, though, I did implement a system to where I made sure that every single swimmer swam at least three events a meet, so that parents were not going to be blindsided by their kid only swimming like one thing and they're upset. So I made sure that we had an equal system, kind of almost, to try and even it out as much as we could. Number three, what are three things that are most important to you in a job? So I'd say probably the first thing that's most important to me is feeling comfortable and being comfortable in the office. And I think that comes from a good community, a good team around, and just, a positive work environment. So I think that's really probably my number one thing that I'd like within a job. Number two is growth and development. I think that's pretty straightforward within what it was said about it. I want the ability to grow and my skills and abilities that I have, and be able to better them. And I also want to be able to develop new skills and abilities that I don't have, that I may need in the future for all the sorts of tasks that I need to accomplish. So I think that would probably be the second biggest thing. And third is the ability to do meaningful work, I think, is also very important for me in a job. I really feel like I really get a sense of accomplishment after completing certain tasks, and that's kind of how I know that I'm doing the job that I would like to. So I'd really like having the meaningful work, feeling like I'm really doing something valuable and putting a lot of effort in, getting a lot out of it. So I'd say those are the three things. So three things were ability to grow, meaningful work, and the comfortability within an office. So for the fourth question, we have given an example of an occasion when you used logic to solve a problem. And I guess a pretty simple example that I can think of right off the bat is when I was interning at the allergy department. And I knew that the nurses, they would administer the shots to patients, and I would type in everything on the computer and put it into the computer system, the information about the shots and the patients. And so I realized that one day, I guess everyone else realized too, I think the nurses included, we all kind of noticed that the span of how long things take, it could be shortened, maybe by a couple seconds, but it could be. So we actually came up with a way to organize the refrigerator in which these shots were kept, to where we split it up by which day patients came in and alphabetized it as well. So, it didn't save too much time, but in the long span of days or long span of time spent at work, I think it really cut down on quite a few minutes that were just missed shuffling or ruffling through a refrigerator looking for the right person. So as simple of a thing as that was, or simple of a task as that was to complete, it just was. So I think that's it for the questions. I'm Thomas Gunnlaugsson. Once again, I'm a junior management major with an emphasis in human resource management from Clemson University. Thank you very much for the opportunity to interview.